I think as females, we try to just go full steam ahead and we overlook all of the amazing things that we do. And there are so many small wins that happen each and every day. And if we focused on those wins, we could see the momentum we're building, and that just keeps snowballing and snowballing.
Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Pivot to Profit. Our guest today is Cindy Gordon. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yes. So let me tell everyone how amazing you are. Cindy Gordon is a business coach and digital entrepreneur dedicated to helping female entrepreneurs scale their businesses with clarity, confidence, and strategic action. As the founder of Exclusively Cindy, she specializes in productivity, success mindset, and business growth strategies that drive real results. With excellent experience building and selling multiple 5- and 6-figure digital businesses, Cindy knows what it takes to turn big ideas into profitable, sustainable success. She's passionate about helping business owners simplify, focus on what matters, and execute with impact, because success isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. I love that. That's a great description.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So before we dive in, hey, listener, if you're a CEO, founder, entrepreneur, and you are struggling with your financials and you're finding that you have no idea what your numbers are saying and there's not enough money in the bank, my company, Pivot Business Group, would love to support you. Just go to pamjordan.com and we would love to schedule a time to meet with my team. All right, Cindy, are you ready to dive in? It's going to be fun.
I'm ready.
And full disclosure, I know Cindy in real life, and she's one of my besties. So just hang on. No telling where this conversation will go. So what I want to know is, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So I definitely didn't have food blogger and business coach on my radar. When I was a kid, it was always about helping others. So I stayed in that lane, but it was being a teacher. So special education teacher is the studied background, the degreed background I have.
I got you. I got you. So what was your first paying job?
Ooh, my first paying job, I did the filing for a local optometrist. So when the eye doctor files got pulled when the patients came in, then I was the one that organized them back into the system.
Would you sing the alphabet every time?
Yes, 100% every time.
Yes, every time I've got to do the alphabet, I have to sing it. Like if I ever get pulled over and the officer's like, "Ma'am, are you drinking?" I'm like, "No, I'm not drinking." Okay, well, you need to do the alphabet. I'm like, "I'm going to have to sing it." Like I can't.
No, I cannot do it backwards. There is zero way that I would be able to do that.
No, it's like, "Can I have a pen and paper and I'll sing it and write it down and then I can read it back to you." And at that point, the poor officer would just roll his eyes and be like, "Ma'am, you're fine." I'm like, "I know I'm fine. I'm not drinking."
You can just go. You're good.
I love it. Okay. So tell me about your childhood and what you were taught about money and how it has affected you.
That's a great question. So money wasn't really talked about a lot in my household. When it was definitely a scarcity mindset, which I still see that continued through with my family to this day. So it was always, if we had money, we were very lucky that we had money, but it was in a low amount, and we had to be very careful. We had to spend it, very sparingly at the garage sales. We never would go out to eat, like those types of things. But kind of fast forwarding into adulthood, I can look back and see that that was definitely a mindset, that there was money available. We could have went to the store and bought a new pair of shoes versus going to a garage sale. Like that was a choice. It wasn't a need. So definitely was a big mindset shift for me into adulthood.
Got you. So tell me about your entrepreneur journey and what you got you out of corporate and into being a business owner.
Yeah, so that one is a fun story also. I had the food website really just born out of everyone was asking, "What do you eat as a vegetarian?" So I just had it to kind of answer those questions to the side. But when my second kiddo was born, I decided to take a step back. from being in the brick and mortar situation, the 9 to 5 every day. And I decided to, why don't I take this little hobby up a notch, like see what I can do. And so that's kind of how it all just started snowballing. I Brands started wanting to work with me. I They were offering me money, which was like crazy. So it just really started from there.
Awesome. So, what was the journey to, okay, I've built it, it's successful. Thank you. No, thank you. I'm done and I'm ready to exit because congrats, you did exit
Yes.
last year. So proud of you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
what was the decision in the journey that's like, okay, this has been great, but I'm ready for what's next? Tell me about what that was.
So that one was almost, I would classify it as like a work-life balance thing where I finally got to the point in my business where I was making great money and I was spending it appropriately, saving it appropriately, reinvesting it appropriately. And then on my personal slash work side, I had my assistant suddenly passed away, and everything shifted for me. Life kind of took a different look
She
per
was
se.
young.
She was young. Yes, she was younger than me. Yeah. And so that really shifted everything and kind of maybe made me reassess my perspective on things and made me realize I do have what I consider enough in this area and enough in that area. So I really wanted to start living a little bit more and decided to take that exit early and kind of pivot into some other things and helping other women kind of build up their businesses to get to that point also. So kind of wanted to take a step back and be able to spread that love of what I did to somebody else so they can have a great exit and ending as well.
Yeah, I remember when you texted and said that she'd passed, and I was like, that makes no sense. Like, we were just talking about her. She's
Yeah.
younger than we were. And
Yeah.
then the next, it was just overnight. She was gone. And her
Yes.
husband texted you or emailed you and said she's gone. And you're like, I don't understand. What do
I,
you,
I'm like, what? What do you mean? She's like, she went on vacation or what? Yeah.
yeah. And
No.
it's crazy how those moments do make you reassess and be like, am I really doing what I need to be doing? And
Yeah.
how much more do I need? And,
Yeah.
is it really worth it?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a pivotal moment for sure.
So, as you made the decision to exit, what were some of the challenges that you faced as you were getting your business ready and to go to market and to find the right buyer?
Well, thankfully, I had some great people in my corner, like you, um, to kind of help me with that process and help me get my numbers in line and what and really understand them. I had put that off. Really, I think it was an excuse. I think it kind of goes back to that scarcity, that money mindset that I was exposed to growing up. I used the excuse of I don't understand the numbers, and it was 100% an excuse because that's where I was stuck at. So once I was really able to move past that and understand it, um, that was kind of a big hurdle for me to be able to get everything ready and be in that right space. So with selling the 4 different websites, I've went through a few different avenues. I used a big brokerage for the bigger one. I've used a smaller brokerage, and then I've also done 2 sales on my own and not used a brokerage. So it's kind of been a little bit different for each of those. But definitely having my financials in order and very just simplified so that people can easily look at them and understand where this business has been and where the potential it has to go.
Yeah, that's huge. I remember us having calls and going through your numbers and me showing you like, this is what this means. This is what this means. And you're like, oh, okay, put that over there and put that there. And
Right.
oh, I didn't realize that that would matter. Okay, let's take that out, and just, it's amazing. People think when they're preparing to exit, it's all about their client list and what their product is. And they ignore the financial side
Yeah.
because the second thing out of the potential buyer's mouth is going to be, let me see the numbers.
Right. Right.
And if you, as the seller, don't understand what the numbers are saying, you're not going to get that big number.
Right. Exactly. The numbers don't lie. They tell the truth and the story.
Yeah. And if you, as the business owner, have been, for whatever narrative we were taught as a kid, been avoiding the numbers, when you sit at that table, you're not going to get what you want because you
Right.
don't have it together. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what were what were lessons learned, and what would you do differently the next time around if you were going to sell something?
So what I would do differently is from the start, I would make sure that I understand every single number and every single transaction. So yes, you need to have people on your side and on your team that can do it for you, for sure. That's great, but you need to understand what they're doing. You need to understand that when they're categorizing it this way, you need to understand why and why that's the best choice. Because when you come to the table, at that exit table, you have to be able to defend that and you have to be able to talk through that so that that potential buyer, they know that. I think maybe one place where I could have, or where I learned a big lesson was when I started having the 25K profit months, which was super exciting and it was really real for me. At first, I was investing everything back into the business. Um, and I feel like I could have done a better job of balancing that. I really wasn't like just sinking everything back into like grow, scale, but not really balancing it and taking care of me and my my paycheck. So implementing the profit first kind of principles into that was huge. So that was a huge lesson learned that I need to get paid also. And I'm working hard. I need to reap the benefits first in the situation.
You are not alone, Cindy. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to, and they're just not paying themselves. They're like, "Oh, I've got a client now. They're multiple million dollars." I'm like, "Okay, well, what are you making?" And they're like, "Oh no, like they're making like 30,000 a year, and everything's just going back." And I was like, "Well, how are you buying groceries?" Like
Right.
you've got to take care of yourself as the business owner. It's the whole, put your mask on first before helping those with you. Like
Absolutely.
if Cindy's business is making money, it needs to pay Cindy, and Cindy needs
Right.
to be rewarded for that.
Absolutely.
Not just reinvesting it and buying another marketing something or
Right.
whatever.
Right. It's a balance for sure.
Yeah, you can't swing the other way. I've had other clients come in where they're just draining all the cash, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Where did that $100,000 go? Because that wasn't in the budget. Like,
Right.
you got to put that back. Like,
Right.
you can't just take the money." It's amazing. It's amazing. So now that you've exited,
hmm
what did the day after look like? Because I think a lot of people have in their mind that, like, it's rainbows and unicorns. Once you sell, it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to go scuba diving and travel and play golf all the time. And like, but then what I find is like that next day isn't always what everyone thinks. So, what was like day one without the businesses?
Day one was almost denial, like a different reality. It was almost like I was in denial that it really was gone. Um, and while I was extremely excited to let everything go and pass up on the torch, it almost is a period of grieving because you've built something up. You built it up to sell it. That's the whole reason, right? And you have this beautiful exit that you've been dreaming of, and then it's literally all gone. So so then you have to kind of decide where do I want to go next, and it's almost like the empty nester syndrome. I'm not quite there yet, but it's what I hear.
Yeah.
They leave the nest, and you're like, well, now what? Now what? But then as days go by, then you get into the happiness and the rewards and all of that good stuff. But the first couple of days or weeks really that's a big transition that you don't really realize.
There definitely is a grieving process that I
Yeah.
think people aren't aware of when you exit your business because you built it from nothing. It was literally an idea. Let me make a blog to show people what I eat, gluten-free,
Yep.
vegetarian, nut-free.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it was your life, aside from being a wife and a mom. And then it wasn't anymore. And like you wake up that day and it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like it's your identity, and then your identity's gone. You just sold your identity, for lack of a better way to describe it. You gave it away to someone else. So it's like rediscovering yourself and figuring out where to go from there, for sure.
So once the grieving was over,
Yeah. Yeah.
what did you do to figure out what next?
For me, I looked at all of my areas of life. Kind of life and business morphed together. So, kind of like the wheel of life activity, if you've ever heard of that, where you analyze all the different areas, like your well being and all of that stuff. So, I kind of looked at where I was lacking, and tried to kind of get into a state of where each of those areas of my life I felt were pretty equal. Just kind of almost like you go through like little healing moments of different areas, and just kind of putting yourself back together after the big changes in life. And really from there, I just sat down and had a conversation with myself, literally, and ask myself, what makes my heart happy? Like, where do I want to go from here, and what are the things that people keep coming to me for that I want to give back? I mean, you can get a lot of asks from people for things that you're not really interested in doing, but really breaking it down, what do people keep coming to me for that really makes my heart happy? And that's kind of where we are today.
So, what are you doing today that makes your heart happy that people ask you about that you enjoy giving back to?
Yes. So really what makes my heart happy is helping other female entrepreneurs, who are either wanting to start a business or are in their business and just have so many ideas and they are overwhelmed at what they need to do next. So really helping take those ideas and organizing them and prioritizing them. So prioritizing is huge, and really being able to give them an action step. So helping take them from overwhelmed to action with just a simple plan. And really being accountable. I like to hold people accountable in a gentle way, or meet them where they are if they need a little more than gentle. But really just getting the ball moving and getting that momentum building, letting them see that they are making small wins. I think as females, we try to just go full steam ahead and we overlook all of the amazing things that we do. And there are so many small wins that happen each and every day. And if we focused on those wins, we could see the momentum we're building, and that just keeps snowballing and snowballing.
Yes, I see that. It's a generalization, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Females do not stop and celebrate their wins
Not at
because
all.
we're just so busy
Yes.
moving on to the next thing, because then there's groceries and dinner and car line and the email that needs to be responded to. And for some reason, as females, there's something in the culture and the ethos that says, well, good job, keep going. Like
Right.
there's never a, like, I remember I had a really big win in my business, and it's almost like I expected a parade in
Mhm.
balloons and like a piñata. And it was one of the more depressing days of my entrepreneurial journey, because it was like, I finally did this thing, look at it. And
Right.
then like I literally cried myself to sleep that night, because it was like there
Yeah.
was no there was no parade, you know?
Right. Right. Well, and I think being able to create a community of women just kind of coming together, whether it's one on one or small group, where you can share your wins like that and acknowledge them and realize that they're happening, big or small, I think it's huge. So, really just wanting to create that community as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge need, because female entrepreneurs n- need the support, and you need someone to hold you accountable and say, hold on, Cindy, what you
Mhm.
just said is amazing. Have you celebrated that? Like, have
Right.
you, high-fived yourself for that accomplishment? Like those things are huge.
Absolutely. I've had some great cheerleaders in my corner, one I'm looking right at now. So I definitely want to pay that back. I've seen what a huge difference it's made for me. So I want to instill that to others, kind of that ripple effect. So it keeps going.
Yeah. And you and I, when you exited, you and I even had a celebration trip
Yeah.
to highlight and celebrate that win. And we went to New York and had a lot of fun. But that was a great way for us to celebrate this huge
Yes.
milestone of building something that was beautiful and it contributed and it was profitable. And then you were able to walk away from, and then we were able to celebrate it together, which I think is amazing. So that you're doing that now for other entrepreneurs, I just love it. So proud of you.
Thank
I love it.
you. Thank you.
So what is next for you? What are you looking forward to?
As far as business or
Yeah,
personal,
any of it. Yeah, what's next?
I think what next for me for business is just adding on a couple more one-to-one clients, just kind of keeping that momentum going, but also keeping the balance, not overloading myself. And then personal life, I have two boys. One is college bound very, very soon, so adjusting to what life looks like for that. So entering a whole new level of momhood and business at the same time.
I
Always adjusting to the new seasons.
I love it. I love it. So let's do some rapid response questions.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? So just the first thing that comes to your head.
All right.
Okay. Profit or growth?
Profit.
What's one business expense you'll never cut, no matter what?
Ooh, I don't even have an answer for that. One business expense I would never cut. I don't know. I don't even have an answer for that.
Okay.
Sorry, pass.
Pass. I love it. No whammy. What's the best money advice you've ever received?
Ooh, best money advice is when I was looking to acquire a website and I was really on the fence, and another female entrepreneur in another area said, do not be afraid to grow. So I think not being afraid of holding yourself back, like take that step, make that acquire, like do it.
I love it. I love it. If you have to start over today, what's one thing that you would do differently with your business finances?
I would 100% know all of the numbers of my business and be able to explain every single transaction, every category, all of the things. Know it front to back, no excuses.
I love it. What does financial freedom mean to you?
Ooh, financial freedom to me means all the choices are mine. I am able to choose where I spend my money, how much I spend my money, what I spend it on, that the choice lies with me and not someone else.
Beautiful, beautiful. Cindy, thank you so much for sharing your profit story with us. Where can people connect with you?
They can connect on Instagram at exclusively Cindy or my website, exclusivelycindy.com.
I love it. So that is all for today's Pivot to Profit podcast. If you are ready to understand your numbers so that you can exit your business and focus on your profit, just go to pamjordan.com to learn more. And remember, it's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep.